Welcome everyone. My name is Mira Vasic and welcome to my interview with an expert. Today I'm going to be talking about female leadership with Agne Nainyte. Agne, welcome very much to this open air studio in the city of Rotterdam.
Thank you, Mira. It's a big pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you so much. So we'll be talking about female leadership and Agne will be sharing her story with us today. So let's directly dive into that one. Agne, when we met last year, I was really fascinating by the fact how fast and quickly in your career you were promoted to your first managerial role. Can you please tell us how many years of experience exactly you had when you became the head of transformation in your previous company?
Thanks, Mira, for your question. And I also really need to admit that this awareness, how special this promotion was actually in women leadership career development, was brought by you. I need to admit, I really didn't realize that this was also really so special. So, slightly looking back through my career, saying that exact number slightly depends. So I started at Maersk when I was at the age of 27, um, and I joined as a transformation specialist. Before that, I had almost 5 years experience working at Philips in a very similar type of role. And when I joined Maersk, I got quite, I would say, challenging type of assignment to embed what they call this operating system in two of their remote offices,
Wow.
namely Prague and Bremerhaven, and they were sort of what we called very hard cookies. And beforehand, there were a couple of people before who already tried to implement that operating system, but there were some challenges, and I was sort of a bit of a last call, being hired to do that assignment. And after 4 months, when I successfully performed that role, my boss came to me and suggested me a promotion.
Wow.
And that was really special. I need to admit at that moment I sort of didn't feel ready, and that was a very special moment. I really still can visualize this moment when we're sitting in this meeting room, and he said like, "Okay, Agne, I would like to offer you that promotion," and I felt like, "No, no, no, I cannot take it."
And was it what people usually call imposter syndrome, or was it different for you? How was that for you? How did you felt in that moment?
In that moment, I think it was really actually very much unexpected. It felt like also maybe a bit too fast. I need to admit, before I was joining Maersk, I did sense that I think I can make a quite fast career growth there, but I just didn't feel like after 4 months. It felt like extremely fast. So that was, I think, quite unexpected. And when my boss gave me that promotion, I was immediately hesitant and saying no, I think I'm not ready, etc. And what he said, Agne, please don't be this typical woman. Don't
and,
be
and what does that mean? What does that mean? What do you think? What does that mean, this typical woman that we also hear a lot about that, right? What does that mean exactly?
I think that means that indeed, like if, like for example, my boss is is a vice president who has a very strong reputation in the company, has been working there for many years. So I think he's a very experienced leader. So I would say like, okay, when he comes to someone and suggests promotion, I think he's quite sure that that person can take that role. And what he meant that as this typical woman, I was doubting myself.
Yeah.
Although he was really sure that I can take it and I can perform in that role.
Oh, but that is really nice. I was really happy when you told me about this amazing story. I was really happy, to see a really practical example how also leaders can support their colleagues, and how he supported you and how he really challenged you in a moment and said all these things. But then at the end, it happened, right? You became the head of the transformation.
Yeah, so especially I think I indeed had some doubts, but when he confirmed me, I said, "Don't be this typical woman." He also triggered me. I thought like, okay, I think he's right, and I just need to take it. And I think later when I took that role, I felt lots of pressure, of course, to perform not only for others but also for myself. And during this whole journey he was so supporting, and I think for me that actually mental support from him, that he believed me and that he always supported, actually really played a big role in my performance. And I think that's really important to have such a leader.
Definitely.
I think without him I would not be able to perform that role.
Or maybe not that fast, not that quickly as you did, right?
Yeah, I agree.
But then at one point you decided to leave all that and to do what?
To go to rural Uganda and volunteer with women.
Okay.
So
Why?
yeah, I need to admit it's really difficult sometimes to tell me why at this moment, because there is one thing how I felt at that moment when I did that decision and how I feel now. So if we go back to that time, I need to admit I think this promotion was indeed very fast. So you clearly indicate by yourself it doesn't come I think that often. And I was very, of course, proud by myself. I worked very hard to show everyone that I was worth it, that role, and I can perform, I can make it, and I did. I got a strong recognition, I think, from organizations, so that was good. But I think maybe that whole promotion and that whole life stage went too fast, that at some point I really started to talk with myself in my head. Okay, so you already went here so fast, whereas maybe before I was picturing that to come in 10 years time or something like that. And when that came, I said like, okay, so I'm there, this was my dream, but what, am I really happy? Is that it? Is this really meaningful? So I started to have lots of these internal discussions with myself
and reflections on what you wanted, what you did.
Exactly. And when I started to have this discussion, I went into this crisis period. I call it millennial crisis.
What is that? What is millennial crisis? I mean, we hear about that on social media, but what is it?
So for me, the millennial crisis is about that period in your life. Typically, I think you already have certain accomplished things, what you wished for. And when you accomplish that certain level, it can be different levels for different people. You start to question, okay, why I'm here? What's my purpose? And when you start to have this type of self-reflection, type of internal discussions, then that crisis comes, because it clearly shows you that at the current moment you are not satisfied with where you are. And that for me what happened at Maersk. I just realized like, okay, I'm working in this big corporate organization, I'm working so hard, I'm at this leader level, but what's next? And when I started to think of these answers by myself, I was not happy with my answers. And that's when I started to feel that, okay, what I'm doing now is not good enough. I don't think I'm happy anymore. So when I came, it was a bit of a period. I came to this point where I decided I needed to do something different, and that's when I decided I don't want to just join another company, another job role. I realized I needed to do something else, and at that moment for me, something else was about going to rural Uganda and volunteering with women. Volunteering in Africa has been my teenage dream.
Oh wow!
For many years. So that's when I did kind of also decided, why not? Why don't I just take some risks and try something else? It was a courageous decision. It was.
I can imagine.
It was a bit of a crazy.
I can imagine. And can you tell me that moment? You packed your stuff, you decided you left your company, and you arrived there. What was your first thought? Was it like, oh my God, what did I do? Or was it, oh, I did a good thing? What was it?
So I need to admit, so this whole millennial crisis for me lasted 3-4 months at Maersk. And I had that discussion with my former boss, so I didn't leave just like next month or officially before month. We talked 3-4 months, and we also agreed on the time, which is sort of okay for my work to leave. So for these 3-4 months, I was preparing. I was reading lots of poverty related content, about women empowerment, etc. So I was prepared, I was really excited. The week before I needed to leave, so this was also the last week at my work, I started to doubt. I really started to doubt whether this is a right decision, because it's also when you're leaving, I got so many colleagues coming to me and telling nice words, etc. So I really started to doubt, and I was thinking, okay, is this really a right choice? But I'm a person. Okay, if I commit it, I don't run away. So
that is a typical woman, I would say. You know,
Yeah.
we stay with broken companies, with broken teams, and also with something that we promised. So
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah, indeed. And then when I went in the first week was also, of course, it was a big change. So I did slightly miss, of course, all the comfortable things we have here, which we take for granted. So there was a sort of adjustment period.
Mm-hmm.
So being there in Uganda was also, especially in the first weeks, was hard.
Were you scared?
No, I was not scared, but before going to Uganda, so I also didn't go there just to travel or just explore. So I went to Uganda with also a very clear objective,
Okay.
to help women build their business, to increase their revenue from the products which they sell. And when I came there, I also faced that harsh reality. I realized how hard it is, and that it's not all so easy. So that also created me, of course, a bit of a pressure, because I'm a very performance result driven person. So I really wanted to help them. I really wanted
and soon, fast.
Yes.
Probably that was your hope, right?
Yes, of course.
Like, as soon as possible, and things will be done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I'm also quite an impatient person, so I want results very fast and quick. So
what did you realize? What happened then?
So I had lots of ideas, of course, before going there, how we could do things, how we could improve it, how we could sell it, how we could maybe create business there. And then you come there and you start I'm coming from a lean thinking thought of school, and in lean we call this Gemba. So Gemba means that you come at the actual place, and when you come to the actual place, you start to have different insights which you bought before. And going to Gamba is very, very important. So it's, I think, quite natural when you go to that actual place and you start to see the reality. Lots of your ideas, you realize, okay, that's not gonna work. You planned, you created this whole plan, but that's not gonna work. Okay, you need to rethink.
Yeah.
So there were lots of these things, which I think is a natural process, and that's how it goes. But of course, at that moment, it can be hard.
It can be hard, definitely.
Of
course, I admire you at every single point of this journey, and I can also say that I'm jealous that you did that, and I'm happy that you did. But then there was a moment that you thought, well, this is not gonna bring me what I hoped. What happened?
Yeah, so what happened there is, I think, when I was leaving Maersk, I had this hypothesis that okay, I don't have this purpose now, working for a corporate organization, and I thought that my purpose naturally will come after I start experiencing and working with NGO. So that was my hypothesis, that if I work with NGO, this is so great, this is so meaningful. If I do that, I'm gonna be happy and I will have that meaningful life. Now, I go to this Gamba, what we call it, so I go to that actual place, I started working there, and then I start getting different insights. So my hypothesis was basically not confirmed, and I started to learn that, oh, actually, I really liked my job, what I did before. I also actually liked the organization, I missed maybe my colleagues, I missed lots of things what I had, so I just realized that working for NGO full time is maybe not my road, and I think this whole journey getting there helped me to realize more and better how much actually I really liked my job, which I was always doing.
Which is also fine, right? Which is actually great because you understood what you really like. But that didn't stop you in helping women in Uganda, right? So what did you do then? What once you came back here?
So I think my biggest realization in this whole career break journey was that So before I went to Uganda, if you would now picture yourself having a picture of four pieces puzzle. So imagine four pieces puzzle, and that puzzle represents purpose. So before, for me, that purpose puzzle consisted of the first piece was work, the second piece was work, the third piece was work, fourth piece was work.
Very creative, I must admit.
Indeed. So my whole purpose puzzle was all about work, doing career. You know,
Yeah.
I'm coming from Lithuania, so getting successful in this Western world was a really big thing. That's what my parents, expected from me, the whole society. So I was chasing that type of,
Yeah.
success formula. And what I realized after I came back, that now my purpose puzzle looks very different. So it's still four pieces. So one of that piece is work. Work is very important. I want to do a great work and have a nice job, which really fulfills me. The second piece is indeed I still want to support and do something good working with NGOs. So I'm still engaged with Integrated Villages NGO where I volunteered. So it's still a part of that. Another purpose puzzle piece is about blogging. So I feel like I went through a quite rough journey on realizing this. For now, it sounds a very common sense, but at that time it was not. So I feel like a deep desire and need to share these insights with the rest.
Yeah.
So I do that through blogging. And the last piece for me now is about getting more involved with NGOs in Lithuania, more sharing my experience and knowledge with the country where my roots are.
Yeah.
And that whole combination, I think, makes me a really, I would say, balanced and happy person. And I just feel like before I put too much pressure on that work. And I feel that's a kind of a big elephant in the room when I also talk to many young professionals, that we expect so much from this work. Whereas I feel like it's so hard for this company, for this job, for this team, for this leader to fulfill all your needs.
Yeah.
So maybe you as a young professional need to do something to sort of diversify different activities what you do, and try to search that purpose through those different activities. So giving an example, so for example, now sometimes I have a bad week at my work. It doesn't go like I would like to. That's fine, it's a bad week. Then I have a call with the NGO in Uganda, and I get so much energy.
Yeah.
So it balances out.
Oh, what nice. Yeah.
And sometimes it's vice versa. And I feel that's, at least for me as a person, that works very well. And that's, I think, for me was the biggest takeaway which I got from the career break.
Oh, I'm really happy for you. Really nice to hear that also.
Thanks.
But now it comes also to my mind. Do you think then that because your puzzle was made of four same things, which is work, was that the reason that you got that promotion that fast? Or was it the main reason?
I think there were a couple of things. I think it's also true that indeed I was a very, very hard working person. And my boss liked that.
Yeah.
So that definitely, I think, influenced. But I wouldn't say that was the only one, that only due to my hard work I got that promotion. I think it was also my drive, my capabilities. So let's say before that I worked at Philips, and I learned at Philips already a lot of things which were not yet in place at Maersk. So for me as a professional, that was also relatively easy to apply that knowledge which I got at Philips at Maersk, because I have already seen certain things. So that was, I think, a big factor. Another thing which also helped me, I think, to get this promotion, that I was an outsider. So before, my predecessors were coming from Maersk, and in certain roles, I think you really need to have that fresh outside perspective of things.
And you were a woman. Were they men, the people before you had that role?
Yeah, that's also
Do you think that it helped that you had this feminine way of work and way of leading at the end of the day?
Actually, you are right. I think where it really helped me, and if we talk more specifically there, I think I was a bit more flexible. So let's say, especially because in these first 4 months, I got that challenging assignment in embed that way of working into very resistant offices,
Mm-hmm.
I was way more flexible.
Yeah.
So I tried to listen very much to these people, and I didn't say, okay, this is how it should be done, and this is how you are gonna do it. I was very flexible, so I didn't come and said, okay, I'm the third person who is gonna do the same. Also, very quickly, I realized that the same approach which was applied before by my predecessors would not work. So I needed to change something, and I was initially really trying to understand what can I change. Why are these people so hesitant? I tried to build relationships. So definitely that factor, I think, also played a big role. I don't know. Yeah, if it's because of a woman, I think it's more like of that attitude and a mindset. That definitely was nice.
Thank you so much. I would like to close our wonderful talk today with the very last question. Would you do it again?
Definitely, definitely, no doubt. It was one of my. It was not that easy journey, but it was definitely.
Uganda or the promotion?
Both, everything
Both.
combined.
Yes.
I sometimes. Sometimes I did regret leaving that what I have built in these years, but I just feel like it's supposed to be like that, and I grew in that year very much.
Thank you so much, Agne.
Thanks,
it was
Mira.
really amazing talking to you, and I hope that you will be my guest again soon.
Thanks, Mira. Big pleasure.
Thank you. And for all of you, of course, I'm inviting you, if you're not already, follow Agne on LinkedIn. Read her blog because she has some really great stuff to share. Thank you.